Hi all, welcome to today's class. So far we have discussed all the concepts of Git, and we have seen all the most of the commands of Git to create repository, to add files to staging area from working directory, and also to push files from local to remote repository. So these are some of the commands which we use to create repository. Git add is used to add files into the staging area. Git commit, when you give git commit, the files are staged. Git branch is to create a new branch. In this case, which we are creating a main branch, right? So M stands for default branch. So this will be our default branch, and this is our remote repository, and we are adding the remote repository to local rep. So we are basically connecting local repository and remote repository with this command, and finally we are pushing it under hyphen u stands for upstream, right? So these are the commands. So today we will look into branching. We will look what branching is in a um, much more depth. So this is my main branch. Okay. Okay, so I have some function. We will take calculator again. I have add and subtract here. After, let's say, commit number 1, and I will do another commit, add, subtract, and multiply. This is after commit number 2, right? So at this stage, I will choose to branch. I will give a command called git branch. Okay, I'll give a command called git branch followed by the branch name which we want to create. Okay, so let's call our branch name as feature. So what happens? A new branching is done here. So now this branch, which is called feature 1, will have add, subtract, multiply, right? So if you had branch from here, it would have only add and subtract. So now after this stage, I am giving this command. Now this branch is created. So now what I do is, here I will commit to this branch. Now I will commit to this branch. I will add divide function here, right? So let this be commit number 1 for this branch. Okay, main will have the same code with no changes, so you can still commit here. Okay, so what I will do is, after commit 1 of feature 1 branch, I will choose to merge, right? So I will give a command called git merge. Okay, so now this branch will have add, subtract, multiply, divide. And typically what happens is, once you merge, this will be of no use. So if you don't want, if you are not committing to this branch, you can delete it. After merging, you can choose to delete it, right? So this is the main function of branch, or this is how branching works. So we will see a practical example. So this is our working directory. This is our remote repository. If you can see, there is only one branch here, which is default branch. The branch name is main, correct? So now let's go back to here and let's in the command prompt, I will give git branch. So this will show all the branches available, and it will also show in which branch it is currently in green color. So there is only one branch called main. It is in green color. Now it is, yeah, it is because there is only one branch. It is the working directory is in main branch. Now if I give git branch followed by the branch name, okay, let's say feature one. Okay, now if I give git branch, yeah, there are two branches now. One is feature one, other is main. But now the working directory is in main branch. Okay, you, so just have a look at this. We will take an example. So this is how it looks like as of now, right? So how there are two branches. We will look here. This is main branch as of now. Now what would we give? We gave git branch, right? So we after git branch, we will just take this example calculator.txt. This has add and subtract. Remember, this has add and subtract. Now, if you are branching here, what will this have? This will also have add and subtract. Okay, so now working directory is in main branch. Main, this is feature one. Okay, now I want to change it to feature one branch. So I will give a command called git checkout. Git checkout followed by the branch name. Okay, it says switch to branch feature one. Now if you give git branch, see, green color is in feature one. So now it is here. Now working directory is switch to feature one branch. Okay, now if I open calculator.txt, it will have add and subtract. Okay, so we will add one more function called multiply. Okay, so after adding multiply, I'm saving it and I'm saving this file, closing it. So what did we add? We added multiply, right? We added multiply here, correct? Now I will switch back to main. Okay, I will switch back to main and see what is the content there. Now if I switch back to main, what should be the content? Should it be add, subtract, multiply, or only add and subtract? Let's see it. How do you switch it? I will use, yeah, I think before switching it, we will commit it. We will first save the changes, right? That is important. Git commit added multiply, right? Okay, all right. So now we will, so now have a look. It is the still in feature one branch. If you open it, you can see three things, correct? Three functions. Now I will give git checkout. What is the branch name? Main. Yeah. Switch to main. Okay. Now, if you open this, you can only see add and subtract, correct? I switched back, you can still see only add and subtract. Now, if I switch back to feature one, okay, and open this file, you can see multiply. Right, so that is the difference. Now, what we will do, we will push this to our GitHub. Okay, so how do we push this? We first add all the files. I think there is nothing to commit. Let's we how to check it. HTA, yeah, we'll see git status. Yeah, nothing to commit. Told you right. So everything is clean. We are ready to push our code. Now, if you notice here, there is only one branch as of now, main branch, and if I open this, it has add and subtract. Correct. So now what I'll do, I'll give git push upstream origin feature one. Okay. Yeah. So this says the branch feature one is created, right? Now, if I refresh this, I have two branches. If you can see here, one is main, other one is feature one. So in the main branch, the calculator file has only add and subtract. But if you switch to feature one and open this, you have add, subtract, and multiply. You got the difference, right? Okay. So so far so good. We have understood how branching works. We have also created a new branch, and so our situation is now this one. We have two branches with the following properties. Now what I want to do is, so I see that everything is working fine now, right? So I want to merge it to the main branch. So remember one thing, main should always contain working code, right? So in case if this was not working, I would have simply deleted it. How to delete a branch? Git branch minus d, which means delete, and followed by the branch name. In this case, it is feature one. If I had given this command, then this branch would be deleted and all the changes is ignored. But I see that all the three functions are working fine. What I do is I will merge it to main. So I will merge it to main. So how do you merge it? It is by git merge by the followed by the branch name, right? So before merging, remember you have to go back to main branch. So there is also another way to merge here. In GitHub itself, you can merge. Okay. So if you go to main, there is an option here. GitHub shows an option here which says compare and pull request. Compare and pull request. So you have to click this. Okay. So it is compare. So you can see what is the changes here. So if you give compare, yeah, yeah, here. So it shows what is the difference between main branch and feature one branch. It shows that in feature one branch there is an additional line called multiply function, right? So it clearly shows this. Now I will merge it. So it is telling able to merge. So these branches can be automatically merged. So now I will create a pull request. So we will discuss what is pull request, right? It is also called PR. So for now we will see how this works. So I have created a pull request, right? Now there is an option called merge pull request. And I will click on confirm merge. Okay, as I told you earlier, after merging, I don't require this branch, correct? So now this is merged. This is the situation now. Add, subtract, multiply. So I have merged it and I don't require this branch. So I will decide it to delete it. There is an option already, delete branch. I will click on this, the branch is deleted. Now if you go to code and see, there is only one branch, correct? And if you open calculator, it is added. So I have just demonstrated with single line changes. Typically what happens is there is thousands of lines of changes will be there. So that's how it is helpful. Okay. So we saw something called pull request, right? So on GitHub. Now let us see what is pull request and how this is helpful. Okay. So before that, we saw that one of the uses of GitHub is to contribute to others repository or contribute to others code, right? For example, if you see my repositories, there are so many repositories here. Let's say we will take this repository itself. So add is there, subtract is there, multiply is there, but division is not there. So you can use my link and you can go to this repository and you find out that there is no division for this calculator. So you can write the logic for division and you can give it to me. How can you give it? That is by pull request. So the steps for it is, first you have to do something called git clone. Okay. Okay. So you have come to my repository and this is the repository which you want to work upon and you want to add division to it. So what you do is you click on this code button here and you copy this link. Okay, after you copy this link, you go back to your local, right? Let's create one folder called git SkillBout. Okay, now if I give git clone followed by the link I copied, remember git clone by the link, git link by the remote repository link. So remember, you should not copy this link, but you have to click on this and copy this link, right? Yeah. So I have given git clone. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you can see a folder called git SkillBout skill training. If you go inside, you have all the files which are available here. Okay, so now what you do is you can, yeah, you can add one more function called division. You can save, and if you have access to the repository, you can directly push into the repository. Or if you don't have access, first step is you have to fork this repository. Okay, so what you mean by fork? Looking we are coming across new terms here. We will understand, don't worry. So we git fork. Okay, yeah. So after git clone, you have the git repository, and you can follow the same steps for if you this is in case if you have access to the repository. What do you mean by access is if you are contributor to the repository. Say for example, if you are working in a company, or yeah, in a company, and if you have access to something, you can push directly. But if you don't have this, generally what happens is uh, in this case this is my repository which you don't have which you don't have access, or apart from me nobody has access to this repository. They cannot make any changes without my permission. So for that, what you need to do is first step is to clone, sorry, git fork. Okay, so if you give, let's take somebody else's repository. Okay, just hang on 1 second. Yeah, let's take this repository. Okay, so I don't know who this person is, but yeah, if you want to contribute to this repository, this seems like a simple HTML web page. Okay, so we want, if you want to improvise this web page, or if you want to make use of this web page, if you just want to make use of it, you can simply give git clone. You, as I told you earlier, you can do git clone. But if you want to contribute to this repository, first step is you have to fork. There is an option here, right? If you give git fork, the same exact copy will be, yeah, it is saying forking. The same copy will be copied into my repository, into my profile. So now I have access to this, right? So what I did here is, this is somebody else's repository which you don't have access. There is no access.
If it is only private means it will not have access, no, sir.
No. Private and public, I think what you're speaking, it is visibility. Okay, public and private. So if you give private, we cannot see others repository as well. Only public repositories we can see. So all these are public repositories which we are able to see it, but we don't have access to it, right? So this is some random person's repository. Let's call him a XYZ. Okay, so what we'll do is, forking is exactly like a branching, right? So if you give git fork, I did right. So if you give fork, this is your profile. This is your GitHub profile. This is somebody else's. This is XYZ's. So if you fork it, the exact copy of code will come to your profile. Now, since it is your profile, you have access to this repository. You can make changes to it. You can delete things. Nothing will be affected here. But there is, let's say there is three features here. We decide to add one more feature. This is almost like branching, but since this is branching happens in only one repository. So branching happens inside the repositories, correct? So this is even a much higher level. This is at the repository level itself. So the whole code is copied here. You added few things. You added so many things here. The new features. Now, now what you will do? You will send the whole code to this person as a PR, as a pull request. So you are telling this person, see, I have taken your code and I have added few functionalities which is performing very well now. You can you can consider my features. You can take my features. So what this guy will do? This guy will verify your code. So he will see if all your features are good, and if he feels like taking your code, he will approve your pull request and he will merge it. So after he merges it, his repository will have his code plus whatever you have contributed, right? So that will be there, and in his repository, in the section of contributors, your name will appear, right? So it means that you have contributed to that repository. So now what we did, we forked, right? So this is uh, so since this is forked, you can see my this is under my profile. Project name is some Venkatesh, whatever HTML CSS, but this is in my control now because this is my repository. So now I can copy this. Let's delete this. Now if I give git clone, so now this is there, correct? Now what I will do, I will edit something here. Okay, and just for your understanding, I will add a new tag here, a dummy tag, or maybe we will contribute something. Okay, we will add a background color, right? We will add background color as red and we will save it. Okay, so now if you give git status, it says that we have modified a file, so we will have to add it to staging area. After adding it, we have to commit it. We'll say added back background color. So now we will push it to our GitHub. So if you can see, notice here, there is the change is not reflected here. Okay, I think this will. Before that, we have to create this, right? Okay, so now we will push, get push. Okay, now let's see if something has happened here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think, see, I was talking about it, right? So GitHub has changed the branch name to main now. Before that, it was master. So since we forked it from others repository, maybe it was an old project. It was considering master itself, correct? So in this case, the branching was not required. So this is one confusion which is there always because they they have changed the default name itself. So what we will do here is that's okay. So you understood, right? So we have main master branch which is default. We have another branch which is main. So what we will do is we will like we did earlier, we will create a pull request and merge it. Okay. Okay, this went to this repository. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll come back to this here and see our main branch first if the change is reflected. Yeah, our change is reflected here, but in master change is not there. Pull request. Yeah, yeah. So this you have to select here. I have selected. I am merging main to master. Yeah, you don't have to break head about this because this is not our problem. This is since GitHub changed its name, this is creating some issue. But yeah, I think this should be resolved now. Yeah, so we are in our default branch. Don't consider main or master. Just see what is default because in some cases default will be main. So if you create a new repository, the your default branch will be main. But since this was some old repository, in that case the branch is master. So if you go to index, you can see the body color. The change we have made is here. So but this is our repository. So we have made change in our repository till now. Now what we will do, we will send a request to him. I don't even know him, but yeah, we will just try to send a request to him. So this there is an option here. There is a this branch is 2 commits ahead of his branch. That means we have added something. Um, added that's what it is trying to tell. So now we will create a pull request to his profile. So base repository to which we want to merge is his master from our repository, correct? So it shows what changes we have made, correct? So it shows we have modified this line. So you can also create pull request. You can write some comment here. You can say changed background color. Okay. So you can create a pull request. So now the pull request is sent to him. So now if he chooses to accept my pull request and if he merges it, okay, then the you after he see if you can see here, our change is not reflected, correct? But if he accepts a pull request and merge it, then you will see our change here. And also our name will be here. There will be one more column called contributors, and under that, if you have contributed, your name will be there. So that's how yeah, it is little tricky to understand all these things, but once you practically practice all these things, you will be able to see how things work and understand things in a better way. So I have tried to show you everything uh, from the collaboration perspective, how to collaborate with other developers, and also from if you're working alone on a project, I've also shown how to track changes, how to create a new branch, how to merge it, how to clone the repository, how to fork it. So we have gone through a lot of things today. Well, I think one is branching, which is git branch, right? So we've git branch followed by branch name. So we saw what is git checkout. This is to switch branch. See git, we saw what is git clone followed by git link, remote repo link. If you want to delete a branch, you can give delete followed by branch name. What else? What else? What else should we? Yeah, we saw git uh, fork. So we saw all these things today. So what I want you to do is there is something called very simple things git rebase, which is also very important. I want you to look. Yeah, I was just Google. So why I'm telling you, why I'm asking you to look up for a few commands is you have to see, you have to figure out how to learn by yourself few things, right? So if you come across any errors or bugs, you should be able to Google it and find it out by yourself. So if you Google this and if you try to find out and read about it, you will learn the skill of Googling, which is very important. So you should also know how to Google things if you get some error and if you are trying to solve it, right? So there is a website called Stack Overflow. So you there 99% of the times you will find answer for all of your questions there. So try to make use of all those things. Git rebase is a very simple thing, simple thing which is related to branching, which is related to branching, right? I want you to look and try to explore this. The other thing which I wanted you to do is I want you to create some repository and push some code, or maybe you can visit my GitHub account, right? I will give you the link as well. You can just simply search my name. This is my username, Nagesh underscore Murali. So you can search. There are a lot of projects. You can take up any of the project, right? So you can take up any of the project and you have to fork it, then clone it, fork it, clone it, do some changes and send a pull request to me. Okay. There are maybe yeah, there are around 25 repositories. Yeah, all those are my side projects. You can take up any of there are HTML projects, Java projects, Node Node.js projects. So do some changes, change 2 lines or 3 lines. Send me a pull request, and after I accept the pull request, you can come back and see my repository. Okay. So that's all I had for today. So what I suggest you to do is keep contributing to other repositories on GitHub, and also try to look up how others are coding. You can go to your homepage and you in the explore repositories. So there are a lot of very good repositories to explore. So if you are interested in Android, there is something related to Android. So if you are interested in Python, you can search here, and you can try to see the source code how they are trying to write it. So that's how you improve your coding standards. Because and also see the stars here. It means that so many people have saved it. It means the quality of code will be good, and you can certainly learn from them. So Sukesh has asked a question. Sorry, I didn't notice. Can we say branch as a copy of main? Correct. We can say branch as a copy of main, but it is basically used to build something upon main, right? So as I told earlier, it will exactly copy the content of main. You can add few extra things in the branch you have created, and we also saw how to merge it. So I think too much of info for the day. Revise it. I will send you the notes as well, but the notes which you have prepared will help you in a better way. Okay. So any doubts so far, or any questions do you want to ask? If you have nothing else, yeah, we can wind up for the day. Thank you so much for
Sir,
attending. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
once brief it out about forks. I'm not getting.
Fork. Okay, sure. I will explain again, no problem. So you understood what is branch, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So branching happens inside a repository, right? So there is one repository, in that there is a main branch. If you give git branch here, what will happen? It will copy the content, exact same content, correct? Now if you switch to this, we saw how to switch. If you switch to this branch, and you can push it to this branch, correct? So that is branching. It is exactly same, almost it is same from the procedure wise. For fork also, fork, what happens? Fork, there is somebody else's repository. There is, if you are pushing, there is my repository here, correct? So this is my profile. Inside my profile there is a repository that is called calculator. It's a calci, right? So there is a repository here. It has around 500 lines of code. Now if you fork it, this is, so you cannot push into my repository, right? So you can only view it. You cannot directly modify others repository. So now what you will do, this is your profile. So now what you will do, you will fork it. You have to click on fork. I showed you, right? You, let's say this, I have a project called easy go. So yeah, there is here there there is a option called fork. First you have to do it. So once you have forked it, the same project will appear in your profile. So this is my profile, and I have so many projects. I think I have forked from somebody. Yeah. So this is my profile, but I can see we forked right now, right? Just now we forked this repository. I can see it in my profile. Exact same thing. I can view it here. So you can have the copy of repository in your profile. So since this is your profile, you have all the rights. You can add whatever code you want, but this will remain same. You can add whatever code you want. You can modify it. You can delete something or you can add something. Do whatever you want. You can simply keep it for your reference, but if you feel like you have contributed something very important and if you want to if you want the owner of this code to know about it, that is me, you can send me a pull request. So since your question was on fork, this is the concept of fork. This is exactly like branch, but branch works only on repository, only on single repository. This 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 is on profile level. So in your profile, you will have different repositories. If you fork the repository, the whole repository will come to your profile. You can do whatever you want. You can create a pull request. You can send it to the owner of the code. So you will see your code. If he feels like yeah you have contributed something very important, he can merge it and keep it. Or if he feels like no, you there is nothing much improved, you can simply ignore your or decline your pull request. So this is the whole concept of fork. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay, yeah.